Hi George, this is Vicki Vicki Arnold Wills. I think you knew me by Arnold before I got married, and Wills is my married name, because I think we've known each other more than 40 years. So I was trying to think of, maybe I'll just tell you what house we live in. We live at the end of town, the north end of town, on 203. It's an American carpenter, Italianate kind of design. And that's where the Arnold farm was. And my mom was Lois Arnold. She died in 2012. And the cows were sold off in 1999. And I'm sure that you remember all the cows and how sad we are to have had to stop the farming, the dairy farm there. I think you were at our wedding, actually, as I say, 40 years ago. I was trying to think of how we first met, but I think it was either the library functions, and you were always there to help out and help Jan do everything. It could also have been the Lord's Acre auction, because you were just a stalwart there of helping set up. I mean, twice a week if you could, whether it was a Wednesday night and then again on a Saturday morning, you were there. And you know, I did that for 60 years of my life, I think, for the Lord's Acre auction. You were just always there, and it was a joy. We've also picked up trash together along the streets with Dottie too. Oh, I was going to tell you, or thank you, about the house that we lived in. You brought me a few years back now a newspaper article from I'm going to say early 1900s that described the newel post in our house and how beautiful it was with the inlaid, and went into some great detail. And that was, I still have that newspaper article, and I thank you for that, for cutting it out, bringing it down to us. One of the things that I want to also thank you for being part of this hamlet is your ability to put into words descriptions of things that were going on. I think of the not just the historical society, but when the schoolhouse party that we had, and how you spoke at that, and how eloquently, and the details, and how thorough you were. You also spoke at my mother's funeral, and I appreciate so much. People run very quickly through things. I'm afraid that I'm not good with words like you are, but you have an absolute gift and a skill to be able to take time with that and sort through it all to help people understand the larger picture. I've always loved listening to you speak at the different activities that you've chosen to do that at. What are some of our best times? Some of our best times that I remember is like the parties at your house with you and Jan, and then afterwards we'd go downstairs into that small room and you'd play the piano, and we'd all gather around it and we would sing the Christmas carols, and I just loved doing that. You know, I like to sing, and even though I'm not as good as I used to be, you would play and we would have a grand time. And then also, as Christmas was around, you would come out and we would go up and down the streets caroling. And that was sometimes cold, sometimes rainy. One time, Tom took us on a wagon and we went down to the end of the town and came back up. And that was just a blast, and I appreciate your presence so much. You know, every time I was at the library there as the director for many years, and it was wonderful to have you come in. You always would take the time to say hello, to chit chat, to share from your heart, to share of yourself, of what's going on. And not everybody has that gift, and I loved doing that with you all the time. They tell me my time is up. I think I can only say It's been great. I love you, George, and I would like to be able to come and see you there sometimes in your new home. Bye.
Hi George, Willsey here. You know, we're making this video and we have a little sheet that gives us some cues, and the first one is, how did you meet George? George, I don't remember. It could have been at the post office, it could have been at the firehouse when we were commissioners, it could have been at the North Chatham Church, at the auction, at the talent show, but I'm better for knowing you. Thank you. And when I think of you, George, I think of generosity and time, talent, and treasure. All three of those things. Your time, you know, even at the post office, you spend time with people, talking, getting to know them. You know, you have a gift of speech, which is just wonderful. That's one of your talents. And other talents that you have, playing the piano. That was always a highlight for me when we were at the church and you would play. We'd do that talent show. It was a good time. And sharing your treasures with the church, with the fire company, the historical society. You were always there, George, all the time. What a guy. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart that I got to know you. And you take care, and like my wife just said in her speech, that was Vicki, I hope we get to see you in your new home. Take care, my friend.
Hi, George. I just want to start off by saying I thoroughly enjoyed the story that you told about how you and Jan first met. I thought it was fortuitous that the two of you got together, and the first thing we knew about you and Jan was when you came to North Chatham. And I think you came to North Chatham for a reason, even if you didn't know it. Part of that reason was the community needed you. We needed somebody to be a spark plug, to get things going, to get community involvement, and I think you've accomplished that. There's a number of things that you've done. You've been just a complete inspiration to a number of people in town. You've also been thoughtful, you've been dedicated, you've led by example, which I think is just incredible, both in giving of your time and of your resources. I think that the town has to thank you substantially for what you've done. You promoted ideas that has brought the community together. You've also been a friend to so many other people, but especially Rose and I will just cherish that friendship that we've had with you. And George, I want to make one point perfectly clear, in that you have made a difference in North Chatham. Thank you.
Hi, I'm here with Judy, and I'm saying hello to you, George. And I've been reflecting on when I first met you and Jan, which is 20 some odd years ago, and you came to dinner with Jean and me, and we discovered pretty early on that we had mutual friends in one of Jan's St. Lawrence trustees, Cheryl Granfield. And at that point, we became fast friends. And we'd go out for dinner, we'd go to La Bella, same order every time, margarita pizza, salad, no onions, hold the dressing, without fail. Or else we'd go out, and we often went out to go on our ice cream runs, and then you would drive us around somewhere over by Stuyvesant, I don't even know where, and you really introduced us to how beautiful this whole region is. So you've been a friend of mine as long as I've been in North Chatham, and you've really made this place very special for me. But you've also really made this place very special for all of us. I wasn't here during the Battle of Bunker Hill, even if I live on Bunker Hill. But I've been to so many events where you always had just the right words, whether it was the luminaries and gathering for the luminaries and distribution, or whether it was the 100th anniversary of the ice cream cone, or even the repainting of the post office. You always had something to say that both honored the community and also reminded us that we're connected not only to each other, but to the past and to the future. And that's really been very, very special. You really made the history of this place come alive through the Historical Society and your periodic newsletters. And so I learned a lot about this town, the people who lived here before me, the houses who lived where, all the rest. We probably should have realized there was change afoot when O'Kenny's shut down last year. I mean, that was our go-to ice cream joint. And I guess maybe that was a symbol of things to come. So you're going to be moving on. But I am sure Lana can find us a place up near Glen Eddy where you and I can go for ice cream runs whenever you want. So I give you a big hug, and you're moving out of town, but you'll be back for our next annual celebration of the ice cream cone. Big hug.
Okay, George, I'm not saying goodbye. That's not what this is about. You're going to be seeing me a lot anyway. What I would like to say is thank you for so much that you've done. And the time that I've spent with you while we've done it, the luminaries, the bartending, some of the best times I've had, you were here and involved in it. And all the things that you've done that people don't even know, all the selfless things, the money spent, helping people. It was greatly appreciated, even though most people don't even know. And one other thing occurred to me. When I first moved back here, when I first moved to the area and started the project, I told people, and they thought I was joking, that part of the reason I came to North Chatham or decided to live here was because George and Jan lived here. Because I knew how special the place was, and there was no doubt it was going to be even better with you and Jan involved. And I said that quite a few times. So thank you. You're not done with me yet. I'll be by and visiting.
That's right. Yes, we will definitely be by and to see you in your new place. And I hope that goes well for you. And so this is not goodbye, but I also want to thank you for all you've done for the town and for us. And it was so fun teaming up with you for the luminaries and the library fundraisers. It was so fun to see you bartending with Mark and running the show there. And I'm so glad I got to know Jan years ago. So I've got lots and lots of good memories and memories of the nice parties at Susan and Jim's backyard in the summertime and, things like that. So many good times, but we'll have some more. So it's not goodbye, but thanks again for all you've done here.